This is November the 3rd, 2017. Something else, I'm going to just cover something else. You know, the great falling away that it talks about. You know, everybody's wondered, about that. And what really happens with that is the pastors in America are not warning the church people who America is, that she's Mystery Babylon. And back to that Proverbs 27:6, they're telling the flocks that everything's fine, that peace and prosperity. And I'm saying, when something happens in Babylon, not setting a date, I don't know any date, but when something happens big, they're going to go to those pastors and they're going to say, well, why didn't you warn us? Why didn't you tell us? And you know that this was coming on, and I mean, they'll be mad upon their idols. And I'm saying the pastors will have a bad day that day, and then in their own hearts they'll blame God for it, because the pastors didn't warn them who America really was, and had fed them that peace and prosperity was coming, and when it wasn't. And the 4th of July, here's what I believe that it's representing. America, knowing that she's Mystery Babylon, basically on her Independence Day said, we don't need God in our lives. She declared her independence. And you read Jeremiah, I think it's 51 verse 1, send a very destroying wind it talks about, and saying Babylon is burned with fire at the end. And there was fireworks in my dreams. It's not positive. And simply think like children. Go read Isaiah 47. What do you see? They got it turned around, and it wasn't what they thought it was. The 4th of July, which traditionally on our calendar today is the 7th month. And originally, the first month was March, April, May, June, July. The old Roman calendar, it'd be the 5th month. And it was really what it is, but it's the 7th month, on our calendar now. And partying refers to political partying. Because I had another dream back in 2015 that a bunch of sycamore trees had been cut down. That represents the prosperity. And that goes right back to the mulberry trees or the fig trees been cut down. And high gathering, low gathering. And the low gathering, I had sawed up a uprooted sycamore tree that had been down for a long time into firewood lengths, and for everybody to burn in the campfires. Well, the low gathering got the wood and had 6 fires going. That's the number of man, is 6. One fire was under the path, and all of a sudden the low gathering was gone, and there was no traces and no explanations, and a barren, rock bottom, and the campfires were still burning where they had been partying. And a voice in that dream kept saying Proliferation Treaty. It did say Proliferation Treaty in my dream 2015 when the sycamores were being burned 3 times, I think it was. And the fact that it was uprooted represented this nation, Mystery Babylon, sadly. And the fact that it was seasoned convicted my spirit, meant they ignored 9/11 because it had been quite a period of time. So the tree, which represents the nation, prosperity, was laying on the ground and it was uprooted. And they ignored 9/11, the warning, and did not repent. And you know, I got the same thing last night. And so, you know, we gotta, if you hear a weird noise, the unit next to me, they got a pet bird and it's chirping this morning. Sorry about the sidetrack, kind of laughing. But yeah, this barren bottom, the flames were still going, and the sixth fire was under the culvert, under the path. Well, just remember, the narrow path leads to life. And if you go underground, that's hell. And you know, that's under the narrow path, you know, the broad path. And it leads to destruction. And this was in a tidal region. The tide had gone out and it was just barren. And I saw a serpent in the grass going down toward that bottom. That represents the devil, Satan. And that was that dream. So back to the 4th of July, that just simply represents America's independence from God and ruling him out. I'm being truthful with you. And Babylon, you know, is burned with fire at the end. There's fireworks and a horrible meaning, but the great falling away starts out when the pastors have not warned the flock who America is, and she's suddenly judged, and everybody was caught off guard, and everything's, you know, suddenly heaps. Go read Isaiah 17:1 about Damascus too, and you know, that's what that is. And the 4th of July, Independence Day, saying I don't need God in my life, it was, things are not what you think they are, so you need to use discernment. Go read Proverbs 25:2. You know, search a thing out. It's glory of God, you know, to conceal a matter. But, you know, kings will search it out. It's Proverbs 25:2. I can't think of it word for word. But the great falling away, that's how it happens. It's how my spirit's convicted. Babylon is suddenly judged, and no date has been given, and I'm not going to set a date because I haven't been given a date, you know, when any of this will come to pass. And as far as I'm concerned, it just needs to be prayed over, and the Bible needs to be read, and God needs to be sought. And just remember, don't seek me. Go seek God on this stuff. But those are my convictions, and I'm being honest about them.